Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Challenges of the New World Season 1. This is game number 2 in a best of 15 between Aizamk and Umeu. Two top-level players battling it out with every civilization. That is the rules of this event. You must win against your opponent once with each different vanilla civilization that the game has to offer. So it is essentially first to 8 wins the series, and of course a small cash prize from me worth $20. But that is essentially one win for each different vanilla civilization, and each time you win a game, you will no longer be allowed to play the civilization that you won the game with. So as this event progresses, you will have fewer and fewer civilizations to choose from. But here we see Aizamk using a crack shot on one of the Buccaneers here, or pirates, we can call them that too. They have 600 hit points, which is actually the highest hit point value out of any Treasure Guardian in the game, making them one of the strongest Treasure Guardians in the game. And of course, these two pirates would absolutely be able to annihilate this explorer there, but he can certainly come back when his crack shot recharges to finish these off and eventually grab himself an absolutely staggering amount of coin, 235 coin. That'll be very, very useful later on in the game, though he did move his explorer up here and then come across a 95 wood treasure guided by 2 outlaw riflemen. You do need a crack shot to grab that, so perhaps being a little bit regretful since wood is actually a far more useful resource than coin early on in the game. But either way, now down here, grabbing himself the 90 food treasure, and honestly he could do with his crack shot here as well, so choosing to use it really early on, but using it very, very efficiently. Here we see an envoy there, perhaps going to lose his treasure, and he is going to lose 90 food to his opponent Umeu, standing at the treasure there, perhaps getting a little bit lucky, but either way, not revealing his location of the explorer until Aizamk had finished creeping those treasure guardians, and he was creeping like an absolute monster since, of course, he used his crack shot early on, but using it efficiently on a treasure guardian that had a lot of hit points, but was not able to use it on a treasure guardian guarding perhaps a more useful treasure in the early game, and ultimately losing 90 food to his opponent there. Umeu now going in for a 70 food treasure as well. That is a huge amount of food that he has found early game, and is going to help him age up really, really quickly. Absolutely really, really quickly, especially the civilization that he is playing. He's playing as the Dutch. We'll switch over to him now, and he actually almost has all of the food he needs to age up at this moment in time as well. 760 food as we speak, aging up any moment now, sending his 3 settlers, and Aizamk only 200 food stockpiled. He's really far behind in terms of age time. Dutch ages up quite quickly anyway for the civilizations. I mean, Ottoman and Dutch are the two vanilla civilizations that age up quickly, I suppose, because Ottoman doesn't need to collect any resources at all for its settlers, and the Dutch settlers cost coin, so both of those civilizations saving a lot of food early game. Anyway, here we have Umeu waiting at the 95 wood treasure earlier, perhaps waiting for that crack shot to recharge. I mean, you do really need it in order to get this treasure, since these do 40 ranged damage, and then you have to kill one pretty much instantly, and then go into hand combat with the other. Since it has a hand attack of 12, you can actually easily kill one in hand mode, but if the other one's ranging you, then really not going to happen here. But yes, starting to kill that, and this is a treasure that Aizamk could have got earlier if he'd chosen to. He's identified that Umeu is going for it, bringing his scout in, going to start attacking. Of course, that's his opponent's explorer with his scout, whilst the treasure guardian is also attacking it, bringing his explorer over, perhaps going to be able to steal this treasure. I don't think he's going to make it quite in time. There's a bit of distance still to cover there, and no, he's not going to get there just in time, though he might be able to take that explorer out. It's taken a lot of damage, of course, from that outlaw rifleman, plus this native scout here. The envoy now trying to attack the native scout, but knowing it's not really going to do anything, so running away to continue scouting. The native scout slowing these opponent's explorer down there so it can't escape, while this explorer here walks forwards, gets a shot in, walks forward, get a shot in, walk forward, get a shot in. The scout there being influential in slowing that explorer down. Of course, any unit in hand combat is slowed down in Age of Empires 3, and losing that explorer there, coming back to crack shot one of the Buccaneers here. Only one remaining now, just going to have to wait one last time for that treasure, that treasure killing guardian ability to recharge, and then he'll be able to grab that 235 coin. But he could have had that wood treasure if he'd not actually, crack shotted this first pirate in the first place, and instead just gone for the 90 wood. But there we have it. Anyway, let's talk about Aizamk here, playing as the French, as we know, in the colour red, in the north of the map. Gone for his hunting dogs, early market, and of course sent that first French shipment. Umeu already up to the colonial age there. We'll switch over to him in just a moment. But here, Aizamk still has a little bit of time to go. Now, Aizamk, he won the previous game, as almost all of you should be aware, and if you are not aware, then you should probably watch these in order. It's up to you, though. Anyway, he played as Russia in the previous game. In fact, it was a Russian mirror, and that is because I want every game, the very first game in every time I host this series, to be a mirror matchup. And that is because in the second game, and in the third game, and fourth game, and onwards, I want the winner of the last game to pick their new civilization first. So I had Aizamk pick his civilization for this game first. He has chosen French, and then he has to lock that civilization in once he has decided. He clearly chose French, he locked that in, and then once he has decided, I want the loser of the previous match to then go ahead and pick a civilization. Here we see Aizamk sending his 4 settlers, getting his steel traps, and apparently putting up a barracks in the middle of the map here. He's got 2 musketeers in queue as we speak. But Umeu has already been up to the colonial age for quite a while now. We see his first shipment on the floor there, 700 wood. But as I was saying, since Umeu lost the previous game, the mirror matchup, the very first game of the series, he has to then pick his civilization after the winner has. So he gets to pick a civilization that will probably counter what the winner picked. So the loser always has a slight advantage. They might be able to engineer themselves some sort of favourable matchup. And in this particular map, since it is New England, he has picked the Dutch, and we'll get on why he's picked Dutch in the future, but we're missing a lot of the action here, since 700 wood has arrived, and his 400 wood from his age-up bonus has definitely already arrived and been collected up, and as you can see, he collected enough wood and food to build a bank in transition, either one of these two, as we can see, and then when the 400 wood arrived from his age-up choice, which would have been the quartermaster, he then built another bank, this one here, or perhaps this one. So he's managed to get 2 banks just before, just as he hits up to Colonial. And then the 700 would arrive, which is his first home city shipment. And here we see another bank going up. That's 3 banks very early on. He's also spent some of that wood on a stable, and you can also spend some of that wood on housing and a market. And of course, at the market, you can buy wood. And bear in mind, it is more efficient to buy wood for those first couple of clicks, since of course, well, for any civilization is, but for Dutch especially, since they have a lot of coin coming in. But these 5 musketeers coming down to find some settlers. He's not being so successful down so far, but has found one in the back here, and Umeu being very quick to actually get that away, but not being quick enough, losing it there, and these herds are quite far away. If he's got plenty of food in his base at the moment, plus the berries anyway, but this herding needs to be a little bit better. These 3 musketeers managing to escape, but these 2 here not being so lucky, fortunately only losing 2 of them, not all 5 of them, so actually they're being quite lucky. These cavalry, of course, popping out of the stable there. Anyway, he did manage to kill a settler, which is quite good, though he has now got 5 more musketeers entering the fray, and apparently 3 hussars as well. We'll switch over to Aizamk and see where his stable is. I'm pressing Control S on my keyboard. He does not have a stable. It must be the 3 hussar shipment, and it is the 3 hussar shipment. So far we've seen 10 musketeers trained out of that barracks from this player. He's also put up 2 trading posts, which I didn't actually see, and sent the 3, well, first of all, his first shipment was 4 Carreras, I would have imagined, then followed up by 3 hussars, and now sending 700 coins. This looks like some sort of 10 musketeer semi-FF, but with the 3 hussar shipment mixed in between the 4 Carrera de Bois and the 700 coin. Now, this is an interesting choice, actually. Here we see those 3 hussars getting engaged by the 5, and of course 5 hussars is greater than 3. He's going to be able to kill them, though he is trying to escape. He's not going to be able to escape the one which is hand combat. If one of them is being attacked in hand combat, it slows the entire group down, but by the looks of it, luring them all the way around to pond towards these musketeers, which he's marched all the way around this side, and once they meet up together, he'll be able to turn around and perhaps gang pile these 5 hussars here. Umeu, knowing it, not going to fight, of course, musketeers and hussars, and now we see the tides have turned. Aizamk, the red player, is now trying to slow down blue, actually managing to take out a hussar and not losing any of his own, though some of them are damaged, since the fact that they were actually attacked there. But actually, some really, really nice control from both players here. But yes, it's interesting to see the 3 hussar shipment in between the 700 coin. We now see Aizamk going up to the fortress age, as a semi-fast fortress might suggest, but that 3 hussar shipment slowed him down. Was it really necessary? Questionable, yes and no. I would say no, but overall, the Dutch do have skirmishers in Age 2, the only civilization that does for vanilla, and those can be really, really effective against the musketeers, so he needed some cavalry to perhaps deal with those skirms. But actually, Umeu not training any skirms at all. So the 3 hussars perhaps just slowing him down to the fortress age. But definitely anticipating the skirmishes, and it definitely could have been very good. But managing to kill some settlers and harass his opponent's hussars, those 5 hussars that, of course, Umeu trained, not actually doing any raiding. They're at the back here now, actually, just being idle. And I think Aizamk's aggression has somewhat stifled that. But here we now see skirmishers and dragoons. He's added in the stable, starting to train some dragoons. And this is a very, very secure unit combination. They complement each other very, very well indeed. And now shipping a frigate as his first Fortress Age shipment, and this is going to arrive on this pond here, and is actually going to be very, very useful. It'll be in range of this bank here, it'll be in range of this settlers, it's going to be very strong, it's going to be able to deal with units, it's going to keep Umeu like tucked up inside this little area, and eventually he'll run out of food. And this hunt here is now secured by the boat. Here we see the town center actually in range, though. He's going to use the bombard attack on that bank here, but this boat taking damage quickly from that, but actually moving it out of range. I don't think it's any longer in range of the town center, and I think, yeah, he's actually just going to siege down that bank with the boat, and this is really, really big. That's 700 resources he's going to gain by killing that for absolute free. Anyway, here we see the musketeers coming in now, going to siege down that stable here, and these settlers on the back here going to move away. I don't think they're quite in line of sight, but one settler on the sheep going to go down. Is he going to get another? Is he going to pop them in the town center now? Yes, he does, putting them in the town center, bringing them forward. Settlers on the coin mine, kills another, and of course killing 2 settlers for free there as well. He's now got skirmishers and dragoons, his first batch out, and I imagine we'll have another shipment in just a moment with a cannon shipment now on the way from the red player. We'll switch over to Umeu, who has a cannon in training here, but only managing to get the 1 cannon out. Of course, these musketeers walking into his base, shooting the settlers on the food and coin, stopping him from generating as many resources as perhaps he would like to generate, and actually not securing enough resources to get a second cannon in. And really, this is a 300 wood production facility creating just 1 unit. Go figure, it's not that worthwhile. He could, however, have sold some of his food. I don't believe he actually has a market, but if he did have a market, you could sell some food and perhaps secure enough resources for the second falconet there. But we see his next Fortress Age shipment, the 3 Floyds, possibly one of the strongest shipments in the game for Age 3, and this is why he's picked Dutch, I would imagine. He's changed his spawn point here. 3 Floyds. These will easily take down a frigate, but we see that Aizamk has actually got a tower and 2 cannons out as well. Of course, these Floyds now going to use their special attacks on that boat here. The boat trying to escape, luring it into range of that tower even further, and also these falconets now coming out. The frigate is definitely got a lot of support here, and it should do fairly well. One of the Floyds going down, the frigate's still at half hit points, and it looks like these Floyds are actually going to be eliminated. Here, Umeu not in a good spot at all, bringing them back. He doesn't want to take any more damage from that tower, which is, of course, really, really strong against boats, and these cannons are crazy against boats as well. 100 bombard damage times by 3 versus boats. Here, the frigate now coming forward. It has limited hit points and will still probably die to these 2 boats, and probably going to target this weak one, try and eliminate it. Now luring it back, perhaps towards the cannon. Aizamk, being the trolley player that he is, luring it into the cannons. 1 boat goes down. Oh, no, they don't. No, it doesn't. Never mind. But it's very close to. There, that one being absolutely blown out of the water there. If I had my graphics settings on, that would have looked so much cooler, but unfortunately it does not. And here, this frigate, definitely enough hit points to deal with this remaining Floyd. And actually, the 3 Floyd shipment, which makes Dutch really strong on maps like New England, is now being eliminated. And Umeu calling the game right there, but why? It's not over yet. He is not over. Let's go to the view post-game. We see here that on all resources gathered, that, yeah, he's not even behind. He's actually got more resources, consistently having more resources coming in than his opponent, and has given up really, really prematurely, and I cannot really understand why. He has enough coin to queue a culverin. Why not just queue a culverin and then collect the coin for a second culverin? 2 culverins would deal with the 2 cannon shipment of France very, very securely, and also the frigate as well, which has a tiny amount of hit points left. There is no way for Aizamk to recharge the hit points of that until he builds a dock on this pond, and I don't think he has any, any intentions of doing that for the time being. And it's not even like Red has a large army. We'll switch over to Aizamk here, and we see all he has is 9 skirmishers. That's 2 batches of skirms, 3 dragoons. That's not even a full batch of dragoons, and the colonial age military left over behind, and of course these 2 falconets. But the falconets and the frigate could easily be dealt with by, of course, culverins, which he has enough coin to train, and those would be out very, very soon. I honestly think he'd be absolutely fine. I mean, he's got enough coin to put that culverin in queue, right? And then it'd easily be out. He could easily get 2 out before it's fully trained. And he's got plenty of units here. Lots of Reuters, has the potential to train more. He saw his economy is basically the same as his opponents. And in fact, he is ahead overall on resources. And, you know, even over here, he's got like 4 hussars. And Red's run out of food. He's starting to come over to get these deer here. And these 4 hussars, you know, there's no outpost for to garrison these in. It's not like Aizamk could bring all of these Carreras back to his town in time, and I think these hussars have definitely the potential to kill a lot there and definitely deny some food, and still just he could easily keep that pressure up, and like it's not even like that his enemy has that many units either. I believe there was 9 skirmishes there. That's the only thing that Reuters is scared of, and you know, he has a cannon. He's got a falconet already. Like, that still counts for something. Sure, it's not 2 falconets, but you know, there's that, and there's still Fortress Age shipments that still to come. I just don't think the game is over at this point, but it is, apparently. Thank you very much for watching, though. If you enjoyed the video, remember to give it a like. I really do appreciate that. Aizamk taking his 2nd win in this series. And remember, since he has won this game, he will have to pick a new civilization first in the next game, and then once he has chosen his civilization, it will be locked in. He will not be able to change it, and then the loser of this game will choose a civilization afterwards. Umeu will choose his civilization after Aizamk does, and possibly will be able to engineer himself a favourable matchup, giving him a slight advantage. The loser always has a slight advantage in this format, in this tournament format. So, again, thank you very much for watching, everybody. My name has been Interjection, and I will see you next time.